Great. So what we're doing is we're going to write equations with given information. There are 3 different things that you might be given that you could write equations with. You might be given a point and the vertex. If you are given a point and the vertex, you should use vertex form. That's what this is saying right here. If you are given a point and x-intercepts, if you're given a point and x-intercepts, you should use intercept form. And if you are given 3 points, you're going to write and solve a system of 3 equations and 3 variables. Okay? So you got 3 different situations. Example 1. Writing an equation using a vertex and a point. If we use a vertex and a point, what form should we use? See how I wrote it there for you? Okay. So this graph shows the parabolic path of a performer who shot out of a cannon. Write an equation of the parabola. The performer lands in a net 90 feet from the cannon. What is the height of the net? So you can see this picture right here. Can I get rid of that little thing? No. You can see this picture right here that shows this is where the performer is shot out of the cannon and then goes up, but comes back down because of what? Gravity pulls it back down. And then this is at 90. That's where the performer is landing in a net, and we have to figure out how high that is off the ground. Okay, so we're going to start with vertex form. Vertex form is, if we don't know it, written above, if we don't know it, we should probably write it. Y equals A parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. Vertex form. Now, in order to use vertex form, we must be given the vertex and a point. So let's look at our picture. What is the vertex that we are given?
50.
Good. 50, 35. That's the vertex. And then a point that we are given. 0, 15. So we're given the vertex and a point. So now what we do is we're going to plug in the vertex and we're going to plug in the point. Maybe I could color code these so you could see where I'm plugging certain things in. My vertex, I'm outlining in red. The vertex is what letters over here? Right, the vertex is HK. So this is where the vertex is going to go. And then the point, I'll outline that in colored pencil pink. The point is going to be plugged in x and y over here. So that'll be the point and y. It's hard to tell the difference between red and pink now, I'm noticing. Okay, but the point is going to be x and y. So we're going to plug all that stuff in. So my y value comes first. 15 equals, ooh, am I plugging in anything for a? I'm not. So that stays a. Parenthesis, now my x is 0, minus my h is 50, close parenthesis squared, plus my k, 35. So I just plugged in the stuff that was given to me. What don't we know? A. So we're going to solve for A. Can you what? Nope. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna solve for A. So I've got 15 equals A parenthesis negative 50 squared plus 35. What am I going to do to solve for A? You kind of want to like think about this being an onion, and an onion has layers, and you have to peel away the layers. It's from Shrek, something. Oh, I heard a lot of different answers. I'm going to subtract 35 first. You can do the squared first. We can do it at the same time if you want. I'm going to subtract the 35 first. So I get negative 20 equals a parenthesis negative 50 squared. And then we'll go ahead and square the 50. What is a negative squared? Positive. What's 5 squared? And then what's... How many zeros should we have? 2 of them. 2,500. Or you could use your calculator. It just takes me longer to pull it out than just do it by hand. And then finally, to get a by itself, I'm going to divide by 2,500. All right, I'll pull my calculator out. You convinced me. Actually, I don't have to yet. Wait, look. I can divide out 10. Boink. And is 250 divided by 2? Like, yeah, they're even, so I could divide each by 2. Negative 1 over 125 is our A value. Okay, so I solved for A, but what are we actually trying to find here? What's it say that we're trying to find? Well, that's the second part. What's the first part we're trying to find? We need the equation. So I found the A value. So I'm going to go back to, what's this called? Vertex form. I'm going to go back to vertex form. And when we write vertex form, we plug in the H, the K, and the A. So our vertex form is going to be y equals negative 1 over 125, parenthesis, x minus 50, close parenthesis squared, plus 35. So the equation that you give when you're done is the A value plugged in, the H value plugged in, and the K value plugged in. The point was going to help us find the A value, but you don't put that in your final answer. So now how do we figure out the height when we know the horizontal distance is 90? If we know the horizontal distance, the x value is 90, how do we find the y value? And plug in 90 into that equation. So y equals negative 101 over 125. What's 90 minus 50? Square that. I'll do it by calculator. Where's my calculator? Oh, number 9, you're killing me over there. This phone is like so bright. Okay, so I got an answer of 111 fifths. Does that make sense?
No.
Why?
It's because we're looking for...
Well, we're trying to find the height of the net. So I just told you the net is 111 fifths. Hi. What's wrong with that?
It's bigger than the...
So what's wrong with it being an improper fraction? I don't think you're using the right vocabulary. Reduce, it is reduced. Do you mean change it into a mixed number? So I didn't change it into a mixed number, but I changed it into a decimal, which it would be 2 1/5. 22 1/5 would be the mixed. Why do I like the second answer over answer? And it's not because fraction, it's because what? Like, what are we talking about? The height of a net? You think somebody's going to say, oh, that's 111 fifths feet. That's not how people talk. Like, you don't talk that way. You talk like 22 1/5 or 22.2 feet. Like, that's how we talk. So that's why I would change the answer to be 22.2. They're the same answer. Both of them are correct. It's just like when you think about answering the question, we want to say an answer that makes sense.
Did you do that squared or is it just?
It's not area, so it's just feet. It's length, it's just feet. Okay, so that is how you do vertex form. Oh, what's this? A student practice. Now this one doesn't real life equation. Write the equation of a parabola that passes through the point -1, 2 and has a vertex of 4, -9. So this is, now you try it. Okay, so we'll plug in our ordered pair. The point is xy, and we'll plug in our vertex of hk into this equation here. So my y value is 2. A, I don't know. My x value is -1. My h value is 4 squared. And then my k value is -9, which becomes subtract 9. Now we're going to solve for a. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. Get 11 equals a times -5 squared. And then I'm going to square this. So I get 11 equals a times 25. Divide both sides by 25. And we get our a value is 11/25.
Wait, hold up.
Yes.
Wasn't the
Wait, is that the end?
I'm not done yet.
Okay, I'll say.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want anybody to think I was done. I just got interrupted because people have questions.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. You can interrupt me. I just want to make sure I answer your question. Oh, you had it in the wrong spot. So after you have the a value, now you plug in the a, the h, and the k only for your equation. So y equals 11/25 parenthesis x minus 4 squared minus 9. Done. That's it. Because I'm not asking you to go plug anything else in like I did on the first one. Okay, the next example is we have intercept form. We're given a point and x-intercepts. So on the front, the intercept form is written like y equals a parenthesis x minus p and x minus q in parentheses like that. Where our p and our q would be the x-intercepts. So this first x-intercept here, I'm going to call p. And then that x-intercept there, I'm going to call q. How do I know those are x-intercepts? Because they're on the x-axis because the y value is 0. So that means that this one right here is going to be the point, which is xy. So we're going to plug it into this equation. We're going to have y first, which is 9.6, equals our a value times x minus 4 and times x minus 24. Oh, shoot, I messed up. Because I also have to plug in x. Oh, so confusing, Ms. Criswell. I had to plug in 0 for x. Sorry about that. Because that's the x value in the ordered pair. So we had to plug in everything, basically everything but the a, so that we can solve for a. So I'm going to simplify it a little bit. 9.6 equals a times -4 times -24. So 9.6 equals, what is 4 times? 96. Okay, 96. Hold on. Okay, so negative 4 times negative 24 is 96.
Divide 96.
Divide both sides by 96.
Is it like this?
It is not 10, but 1/10 or 0.1. So once you have that value, now we can write our equation. We're going to plug in the A, the P, and the Q only. You're going to have your X and Y as. So we'll have Y equals 0.1 times X minus 4 times X minus 24. And that will be the equation. Question?
So we don't have to plug in 0?
Not when you're writing your equation. We use the 0, 9.6 as just one ordered pair to help us find the A value. This says, what is the coldest temperature? Over here, how do we find the coldest temperature? Tell me about where's the coldest temperature on this picture. It is, Martin, say it again.
The vertex.
It's somewhere around here. It is at the vertex. Where's, thank you. It is at the vertex. So we need to find the vertex. So let's go back to, this is on the quiz tomorrow. Find the vertex.
Put them equal to 0. I think.
Well, that's how we find the x-intercepts.
Okay.
We already know the x-intercepts. Find our axis of symmetry. How do we find it from this?
Find the average.
Average them. So 24 plus 4 divided by 2 is 28 divided by 2. So our axis of symmetry is x equals 14. And then what do we do with the 14? Plug it into the equation that we found. So hopefully our equation is correct. Y equals 0.1 times 14 minus 4 times 14 minus 24. So it looks like negative 10 degrees Celsius would be our coldest temperature. That's pretty cold. Pretty cold. Pretty cold. When you are done with this, you have a question, a student practice by yourself. All you have to do for the student practice is go through just writing the equation. There's no extra part of it. So you're just writing the equation for your student practice. Try that one.
What is the...
I just went and reread this when I was helping somebody. It says write a function f at y equals. So this is not the way they wanted me to write it. Like, all the work is correct, the equation's fine. It's just they wanted me to write f of x instead of y.
Would you take points off of that?
It just depends. But it says right here, write a function f. So I should have read my directions better. Oops. So now that we see that, that's what I should have written there. Okay, so the student practice, ladies and gentlemen, student practice times x minus p times x minus q. This point is the xy, and then over here is the p and the q. So you're going to plug in your y is 5 equals your a you don't know. X is 2 minus negative 2, and 2 minus 4. So we're going to simplify that. We get 5 equals A. This is 4 times negative 2. So 5 equals A times negative 8. Most of you did this very well, and you had that A equals negative 5/8. When you do divide by negative 8, this is kind of an in-between step here. I couldn't fit it over here. I've got to rewrite it. When you do divide by negative 8, it is not acceptable to leave the negative sign in the denominator. So that's why I moved the negative sign out there. And then from here, we write our equation, y equals -5/8 x plus 2 and x minus 4. And then there's nothing to solve there. That's all you had to do. Example 3, we're going to wait for block day. Excuse me. I gave you, oh gosh, like 9 questions maybe, or not many questions. It's on Big Ideas Online. So you should make sure that you can get a Big Ideas, which all of us already made sure about that. We already did that earlier this year. Make sure you get onto Big Ideas for your assignment.
So we don't turn in that thing so we can study, right?
Correct.
Things from last night?
Correct. You're not turning in so you can use it to study.
Are we turning in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys will be able to log in and find section 2.4 in your assignments tab. You have 3 checks. 3 checks. 3 checks.
And then you
No, you can still change your answer. It's just not, won't tell you if you're right.